There we go. All right, we're taking a round number 2. I am Dr. Kat Meyer, and I'm here with Eat.Play.Sex, live at the AASECT conference here in Las Vegas. Super sexy. Anytime I come to, these are my favorite conferences. I play this game called bingo with one of my friends, and it's things like, how many people can you find with purple colored hair? Or how many people can you find with tats all over their arms? Because these conferences attract the most amazing, interesting individuals.
They do. I want to play bingo with you all.
So I'm here with Dr. Laurie Mintz, who is the author of Becoming Cliterate. This is her new book. I'm super excited to have her here with me. She's also written A Tired Woman's Guide to Passionate Sex, which I don't know, I think for a lot of my clients, they, especially our women and the women who listen to our show, these are badass women who are making names for themselves in the corporate world and into just women empowerment and going out there and doing things, and their sex life as a result takes a hit. It takes a major hit.
Yes.
And I know for me, I work a lot, and it really had to become something I was conscious of. Okay, if I want a sex life, if I want to have pleasure in my life, I've got to make it a priority.
Yes. 100%.
All of it, all the things. Yeah, so it's even more appropriate. We're sitting at the UMIE booth right now, all about sexual pleasure and empowerment. This is their new toy. For those of you who've been listening to our show, Eat.Play.Sex podcast on iTunes, then you know we typically show you a pink one of these, and they just recently announced a white one. Super elegant. I'm loving this. It looks like it's wearing a necklace.
It does.
So, thank you so much, Laurie, for coming on here. I'm excited that you're with us.
I'm excited to be here.
What inspired you to write this Becoming Cliterate?
Okay, what inspired me is I teach human sexuality at UF to hundreds of students a year, and through teaching them, I became aware that there is this huge orgasm gap. In heterosexual, cisgendered sex, men are having way more orgasms than women, all kinds of sex, but especially in hookup sex. And as I started digging deeper into the research and my students' reactions, I realized it's because of our culture. They don't know about their clitoris. They're never mentioned in sex ed. They are not empowered to feel entitled to orgasm. So many pieces to it. And I thought I would teach my students all these things, and I get these notes about how my students were orgasming by the end of my class. And I thought,
wait, in class?
No. No, I get all these notes like, thanks to your class, I had my first orgasm, or thanks to your class,
wow.
And I thought, I can't just teach 150 kids a year. Not kids, I shouldn't say kids. It's just because I'm so old, but. And I thought, I have got to get this knowledge out there more broadly and empower more women to orgasm. So that's my students' successes, frustrations were the reason I wrote the book.
Wow. And what I like about this is it's empowering not only to women and learning how to be in their own bodies and how their bodies function, but even our men out there who don't know how we function on a pleasurable level. We're taught this very biological. This is insert A into slot B and move around a little bit. Hope it feels good, right?
Yeah. And in fact, that you're just you're hitting the nail on the head, actually, literally, because that's what they've been taught, and they think like, get in, thrust hard, last long, that's going to do it. And the women think so too, so they're faking it. And so that's why what you're saying, I mean, there's been so much male bashing. It's all about the men not caring. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
It's about no one knowing, no one having the communication skills. And that's why I have a summary chapter in there called You Don't Have to Have a Clitoris to Be Cliterate. And it gives all the information that's in the women's section all summarized for men readers, for anyone who has a partner with a clitoris.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really powerful. What would be one or two, maybe you have a couple of things that people don't know about the clitoris that might empower them just by knowing?
Okay. So I will tell you that the clitoris is the central organ for female pleasure. 95% of women need some kind of external vulva. And by clitoris, I don't just mean the clitoris, I actually mean the entire external, the vulva, really. The inner lips have a lot of nerves. But anyway, I know so much, I'm going on a tangent. So here's
we want it all.
So here's what I would say. That 95% of women need external clitoral stimulation to orgasm. Only 5% of women orgasm from thrusting alone. It takes the average woman at least 20 minutes with a partner of external stimulation to reach orgasm.
Okay, 20 minutes. Ladies, that doesn't mean that that foreplay or playing by yourself lasts 2 minutes, which I get from clients. I say, how long are you playing with yourself? And they're like, 2 minutes. And I'm like, and they're like, and then I reach peak and I don't orgasm. And I'm like, you gave it 2 minutes. Right.
Here's this fact that I love. Can I share this with you?
Yeah, I'd love to.
When a man, and I'm using these words very broadly, but when a man masturbates, it takes him 4 minutes on average to reach orgasm.
Really?
When a woman masturbates, it takes her on average 4 minutes to reach orgasm. When a man puts his penis inside a vagina and thrusts, it takes him 4 minutes to reach orgasm. When a woman is with a partner, it takes her anywhere from 10 to 45, average of 20. And I'm not talking thrusting. I'm talking stimulation to reach orgasm. And so the other thing I'd say, give yourself the time you need. You're not taking too long. No matter how long you take the time you need and deserve.
It's that being able to be with ourselves and give us that self-care and attention. I can speak for myself that I remember being younger and giving up very quickly after 10 minutes. Oh, I don't have time for this. I got to go. I've got things to do. I've got papers to write. And I remember the exact moment where I actually made it a ritual. I set up candles and I put music on and made it an actual treat for myself. And it ended up taking me probably about 30 to 40 minutes for my first self-pleasure orgasm. And I didn't realize that I had to give myself that permission for a long amount of time to just be with myself. And after that, it's evolved. But that initial time, and I never would have experienced it if I didn't give myself that permission for that time.
I'm so glad you said that, because by that 4 minutes, I meant that's like women who know they've been doing this a long time. Yeah. So I'm so glad you said that, because we have so much crap in our head, right, about taking time, relaxing, what I'm supposed to do, and you cannot reach orgasm if you're all up in your head, and it takes that much time to flow, to get into your body. And so I'm so glad that you told me that story so I could clarify what I was saying, that take the time you need, relax, make it a ritual. Like, it is self-love and it is self-pleasure, and it's so important that you give yourself the time that you need. So I'm so glad you said that.
For women who are, that badass powerhouse, taking over the world, building their empires, their queendoms, whatever you want to call it, what would you say to them to help them to be able to come back into the body as you're describing what's needed?
Mindfulness. That all mindfulness is, right? Because you're very mindful and you practice it. But for the people that don't know, all it is having your mind and your body in the same space and time. So many times our body's doing one thing and our mind is somewhere else. This email I have to write, this mistake I made an hour ago or 10 years ago. And mindfulness is just getting them in sync, and it takes an enormous amount of practice. So I tell people, and it also, practice in your daily life. Start with really focusing on the feelings when you're brushing your teeth, when you're doing the dishes. Go to yoga. That teaches you to put your mind and your body in the same place. And once you learn to do that in your, daily life, when you're having sex with yourself or a partner, it's not that your mind will never wander, but you know how to bring it back. Bring it back, because having an orgasm, having pleasure, requires a complete focus on body sensations and in being integrated, mind and body. So, I don't know. I'm sure you have more to add on that too, but yeah.
I love how you said it's about bringing the mind back, because the mind will wander.
Oh, yeah.
And we can shame ourselves when we're like, oh, I'm not this, amazing. I can't meditate. I can't be mindful. I can't shut this off. But it's what you do every time your mind does wander.
Exactly. And I'll tell you something. I actually, every morning I get up, I do like 5 minutes of yoga. I only do like 5 minutes of meditation. Yeah. And in that 5 minutes, my mind wanders all the time. So it's not that, oh no, I failed my mind. It's like, what great practice, because I keep noticing it and then bringing it back. Yes. And that's the key, is to, oh, there I go again. And bring it back.
There's my mind. There it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it happens in sex too, even with partnered sex or with self-pleasure.
Exactly. It happens all the time, and that's why you need to practice. The other way I like to describe mindfulness, and I do it in both books, and this sometimes helps people understand it. Do you ever ride a roller coaster?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, do you like them?
Sometimes.
Okay.
More
so
after the
okay. So whether you like them or not, you know that part where you're going up before the first dip, and you're thinking like, what the hell did I do? Why did I get on this thing? Is this buckled? I want to get off. Like, that's your mind, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as it starts going downhill, you're not thinking at all.
Yeah.
Your mind and your body are in the same place, because you're just fully feeling what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's how I describe mindfulness. You are completely in the moment.
That's beautiful. I have a new metaphor for
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So we were talking about, this is her other book, A Tired Woman's Guide to Passionate Sex. And before we got on this interview, we were talking about reasons why women might be filling their schedules, filling their lives, and becoming tired because they're overstressed, they're overworked. What might be some of those underlying occurrences?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I always go back to our culture, like as a starting place. We live in a really busy, fast-paced culture, right? And the phone is always on, and the emails are always dinging. And, I think it's great that we, women are so successful now. But that doesn't mean never turning it off. And you have to be able to turn it off and, focus on pleasure. And it's always, once people start, a career, kids, job, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, it's like sex becomes this thing that you're too busy to do or too tired to do. And what I talk to people about is, what's most important to you? What are your values, And if you say, my career is important and my relationship or my partner is important, it's like, okay, well then you have to actually give time for both of them. Yeah. And make time, if it's important, make time. And it's hard to do, but it's very important. The other thing that happens is, the truth of the matter is, as we get older, as we get busier, as we get in a relationship, this is normal, it's biological, there's so many things I could tell you about it, but the bottom line is we stop being spontaneously horny. So Yeah, right? Yeah. So you think, oh my gosh, because when in the beginning you're like horny, well, at least I was. Most people in the beginning of relationships, limerence, you're horny all the time, you can't get enough. Well, then other things happen, and people don't know that's normal. They're like, oh no, I never feel horny, so I don't have sex. And I say, reverse the equation. Have sex to get horny. Not wait till you're horny to have sex, because you might not. And it's like so many people say after they do have sex, after a long time or when they're too busy, like, wow, that was great, I should do that more often. Well, do it more often. Yeah. So that's the other thing, is thinking you should feel what you used to feel before you were so busy. And no, that's not going to happen, so you have to use other motivators for sex.
And what kind of motivators would those be?
Like, remember that you like it. Remember it's for you. It's pleasurable. It's not a chore you're doing for someone else. Remember that, it's healthy. It's good for you. It's good for physical, emotional stress reduction. It's good for your relationship. I mean, you'll feel great for a couple days after. It'll be like, oh, life is so good, Oh, all those things that used to annoy me about you, now I think they're cute,
Thanks for getting me off on these.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's remembering that this is an important part of your life and giving it honor and time.
Yeah. Wow. That's really important. You said the second one that you said in that list. I'm trying to go back again for a moment.
That you don't give it time, or you think
to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot in our conventional sex model. It's, how can I pleasure you? How can I get you to orgasm? And people aren't in their own pleasure. They don't allow themselves to have that own pleasure.
Yeah. That is so, and so much of it is our messed up cultural view of what that means, right? Like women thinking, if it's good for him, it's good for me. And, and then men thinking the way they're supposed to give pleasure is through penetration. So we have this whole foreplay just to get her ready for intercourse. Intercourse, his orgasm, game over. And then everyone's supposed to be satisfied. It just doesn't work that way.
No. So, yeah. It's very good. And it's like we're assuming their brain and their pleasure is wired the same way that ours are, or what turns them on, or how I like to be initiated is the same way they want to be initiated.
Right, which is why you need communication. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, this is really powerful. Is there anything else that you'd want to share from either of these books that would be just a little tidbit for everybody? We're going to be having Dr. Laurie on our podcast, Eat.Play.Sex, on iTunes coming up. So we don't want to give everything away, but I'm just so excited that we just keep talking and we want to share everything with you. But what could be one thing that they could apply now for themselves? Okay, so I'm going to give one tip from this book and one tip from this. Is that all right? All the tips.
We like tips. We like tips. Although the clitoris
and use a condom. That tip.
In the clitoris, the glands is just the tip of the iceberg. A lot lays beneath the surface.
Yes.
So, tip from this book is that, and what I said, I'm going to really emphasize this. If you feel you're too tired for sex, carve out time to do it. Have a tryst. That's a planned meeting between lovers, and it sounds like it's for an affair, but it's for a long-term partner. Carve out the time to have sex with yourself, to have sex with your partner, just like you carve out time to do work. Have a tryst. And from
priorities.
Yes. And from this book, I would tell you that, and I'll say more on the podcast, but I would say that our entire cultural way of looking about female pleasure is screwing with women's orgasms. And it's time to change that. It's time for us all to become cliterate.
Hey, mama. Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for taking this time and interviewing with us. I actually want to check to see if anybody has questions.
Oh, sure. I'd love that.
We're just going to hop on here. Tarun says he's staying present.
Awesome.
Yes, Tarun. We love a present, Tarun. Okay, awesome. Oh, we have Tammy. Tammy, hi. We love Tammy very much. Tammy's been such a great supporter of our podcast, so thank you. And UMIE has also been an amazing supporter for our podcast. If you want to hop on to tantris.com and we enter promo code SEXMATTERS10 for 10% off your very own UMIE. And the white one, incredibly elegant. You should check this one out. They also have pink, and I heard that they're coming out with a black one and a blue one. So
rainbows. I want all of them.
Yeah, I want all the pleasure toys. And we will continue. I'll continue to be broadcasting here from AASECT conference and giving you all the juicy details on the amazing talks and lectures that I get to enjoy for you. So go to iTunes, Eat.Play.Sex.com for more information. We're also, every month, are giving away a free UMIE. Yeah.
Awesome.
So go to our website, Eat.Play.Sex.com for all the contest details and get into that. Until next time, we love you. Sex matters.